Hello everybody, my name is Hannah and today you will be watching me draw 6 different types of anime art styles. I was inspired by Jinja Ninja OWO to do this because I thought that she had the most brilliant, accurate version of this challenge. Like, hers was just so perfect that I was like, I have to try this out now. Like, no way around that. But anyways, yeah, I hope that you enjoy all the things to come. So first off, we obviously have to do the style of yours truly. I don't generally like to say that I have an art style because I think that art styles kind of stunt your growth as an artist, and I haven't been drawing for very long, only like 5 to 10 years or something like that, which isn't actually that long of a time. And so generally when I find myself getting comfortable with a certain style, I end up just changing it very quickly because I don't want to stay in one place for too long. So right now, what I currently am doing is I'm just kind of like experimenting with a lot of angles and being super angular. So as you can see here, there's lots of different shapes in there. Yeah. As far as clothing, what I put in here is I wear some pretty wacky stuff, I would say. This is pretty normal, actually. Wear like a suit jacket with some ripped jeans and like a striped shirt underneath. I got this exact outfit in my closet going for me right now. Always wearing sunglasses outside. It's very important. Don't want to hurt your eyes. Life lesson for you. Always wear your sunglasses outside. So no, I do not need prescription glasses. These are sunglasses, not prescription. And yeah, also I just kind of wanted to see what animes did with sunglasses and with ripped jeans and the suit jacket and everything, because I found that in a lot of other style challenges, where they would go wrong is they wouldn't adapt their outfits or their colors to fit the art style. So like if a character had ripped jeans, like you'll see here, is a lot of the times I actually completely got rid of the ripped jeans or something, or the socks or something like that, because I could never find a character that had ripped jeans. So I use a lot of reference in this video, and you'll see there's like you know how when there's flashing of colors because people are changing the layers up so much, it's like that but with references here. So yeah, so this is the final product. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. I really like the angles. That's the kind of thing I was going for at the moment, is being really angular and using lots of shapes. And I think that's the biggest thing with my art style, is that I use lots of shapes and lots of angles. Now next we have Samurai Champloo, which is an anime that I just recently figured out about. It's by the same people who did Cowboy Bebop, which is an anime that I've loved for a really long time. Has an amazing soundtrack, which is funny actually. I tend to be drawn towards soundtracks that have good stories and good soundtracks. And if those two things don't work out for them, then I won't like the series, no matter how good the art style is. But for this one, I really liked the art style. I was gonna do Cowboy Bebop, but I didn't like the art style in Cowboy Bebop as much as I did in Samurai Champloo. So I went for more of like the intro take, because I love how the intro has like, I don't know what you call it, but I'll just call it like blackout shading, where in the actual anime it's using cell shading, but the intro has like blackout shading, and where it's just big blocks of black, and I love when people do that so much, so I put that into my art style. Also, a thing to mention is I did a personality test for every art style to see, because I'm very indecisive and I wanted to see which kind of direction I was gonna go with this. And so for this show, I got Jin, which I was very happy about because Jin is my absolute favorite character in this show. I love him so much. Like, what can I say? I am a sucker for those glasses characters. I love him. Mugen is a very short second. I love Mugen's character design actually a lot more than I like Jin. I love Jin's like story and background and his personality, but yeah, no, Mugen's got to take the cake for character design. But anyways, the direction I went with this art style is like the type of character I was doing. I wanted to add something like with my bow, because I know archery, so I was gonna add something with like a bow, but I thought that it's not as cool. I like super personal combat, and so I went with Jin's two-sword style thing. You can only really see one sword in this drawing, but that's okay. The second one is there. Anyways, also I don't know what it's called, but I was going to originally do a kimono style drawing because women in the Edo period wore kimonos, but I also thought it would be fun if I were to be, like, if I was in this show, I would probably be some kind of character that was cross-dressing because I wanted to be a samurai, and so I thought that would be a lot more fun is if I dressed as a man instead of just going with the basic kimono thing that Fu has, which I love Fu's kimono, but I just didn't do it. Also, I wanted to kind of I wanted to put my ripped jeans in there somehow, and so I first tried to make the pattern on the pants part look like ripped jeans, but then it kind of, like, it was I don't know. I think it kind of worked, but then I just started having a little bit too much fun putting the flowers on the pants, and so then I just got carried away and just kept doing it, so it really doesn't look like it, but that was the thing I was going for at the first part. Well, anyways, this is the final product. I hope you liked it. This took me a really long time considering how simple this style was, but yeah, I love it. I hope you like it too. So next, of course, I had to do Ouran High School Host Club, which was my first sort of anime. It was first or second, I can't remember. And so for the personality test for this one, first time I did it, I got Honey Senpai, and I was like, that is very wrong. I cannot ever see myself as Honey. So then I took it a couple more times, and it turned out to be Mori, and I was like, what? That doesn't make sense either, but I kept doing it, and every time it came up as Mori. I was very certain I was going to be a Haruhi type of character. But anyways, that's what we went. So like Mori, I didn't button up my shirt because I thought that, like, not my shirt, but I didn't button up the jacket because like, I never button up my suit jackets, so I just thought that was kind of fitting too. But yeah, this show, as far as art styles go, it actually hasn't influenced me very much. I drew Honey and Haruhi a lot, but I've never drawn any of the other characters before except for them. And so it's kind of find it funny that I actually decided to choose this one. For this one, I actually I ditched the whole the whole outfit I was going for, and I just put on the Ouran uniform because I thought, like, I just really wanted to draw myself in the Ouran uniform, to be honest. I definitely butchered this style that way, but you know, it's okay. But as far as why I did this one is because I just recently rewatched this show, and it is my absolute favorite show of all time. And if you were this anime has actually, like, completely changed my life for the better because when I first found it, first time I watched it, I didn't really understand what was going on, and so it was kind of just like, it was like anime, whatever. Second time I watched it, I got it a little bit more, and I kind of started, like, really getting into the series a little bit. And so, but then, after I watched it a second time, I watched Caitlin Glass, and I can't remember who. Caitlin Glass is the voice actress for Haruhi, and Victor Mignogna, who's Tamaki, and I can't remember for the life of me who is Kyoya, but they were all on a panel for some comic thing, and the voice actor for Kyoya, he said something about Kyoya being gay, and first, like, about how he thought that Kyoya was gay, and how he thought that Kyoya was in love with Tamaki, but because like the voice actor for Kyoya is gay, and he was like, I very much connected to this character because I was in the exact same situation in high school, like where I was in love with my best friend, but I couldn't be with my best friend because he was straight. And I love this show because it's got so many different twists, and like the first couple episodes you watch it and you just go like, it's anime, it's super girly, it's a shoujo, but there's so much more to it, and it's sad that it kind of is like presented in this super shoujo-y way, but if you really get into it, like I recommend it to everybody. But that's not really how it impacted me, because the third time I watched it, I like really understood what was going on, and I really got it, and it actually like blew my mind, because so like for the longest time I have been super confused about like what is okay, like when you can cross-dress, when you're not allowed to cross-dress, do you have to be a certain gender to dress a certain way, like all of these things that was really hard for me growing up, and I tried to figuring out gender identity and sexuality and stuff like that. And then when I watched this show, it just changed everything, because Haruhi is straight. Well, she's not completely straight. I mean, like, she can't be flirting with all those girls and be completely straight. But anyways, she's like straight and she's cross-dressing. And that, oh my gosh, like I thought you had to be gay to cross-dress. I thought that you had to say that you were a boy to cross-dress as a girl, like you had to be a trans or something like that. Like I thought you had to be a certain way to do this, and it blew my mind. Like I looked up to Haruhi so much because of that, and just how open this show was. It's incredible. I love this show. It's my absolute favorite show for that reason. And just because it completely opened my eyes to the fact that gender literally doesn't define who you are. You don't have to call yourself a girl or a boy to dress however you want to and to be whoever you want to. And I think that concept just like made me a way more open person, and I am so thankful that I found this show, because without it I would be so lost. I mean, I still am pretty confused, but aside from that, without this show, I would be nothing. But anyways, so this is the final product. Definitely completely kirboshed the whole outfit thing, and I think the line art should have been a little bit thinner. But other than that, I had a lot of fun drawing this, and I had a lot of fun rewatching the show again. And so, yeah. And so for our next art style, I had to go with Soul Eater, because Soul Eater was my first official anime. I think like my cousins were super into Soul Eater, and so that's how I got into the show. And fun fact, I actually never used to like anime. I used to think it was really weird, and I thought like the only anime I'd ever seen was Pokemon, and it was actually pretty American, so it didn't really I didn't really see it as being anime so much as just being like something on Cartoon Network. And but yeah, for this show, I didn't even put up my personality test thing because it was so weird. It was like, first I got like Black Star, and then I got Soul, and then I got Patty, and just it was all over the place. And so I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna take the Meister or a weapons test. And so for this one I ended up being a weapon, and so I gave myself this like gun looking thing, but I don't actually really like it that much. I wanted to do I think that if I were to be a weapon, I'd be some kind of like more close-up combat thing, like a sword or a knife or something. And so I was gonna go with something like that, but I also didn't want to be too mainstream, and I don't know. I'm not sure how I went with this, but the thing is, the only reason I went with a gun was because I thought it would be really funny to do like the finger gun pun, because it's a weapon and you can be like pew pew. Anyways, that was the only reason I did the finger gun, that's the only reason I did the gun thing. But anyways, so, oh yeah, why I didn't like anime. So I never used to like anime because my parents thought it was weird, and they're like, don't watch it, it's weird. And the reason for that was like, you know, when you first see anime, you see like the big boobs, the big butt, the super skinny girls, and it was like, to me, it was very sexist, and I did not like that, and I did not want to be anywhere near that, and the people I knew at school who liked anime were very weird, and I did not like them, and so I first was very not into anime. But then I realized that, like, once my cousins were into it, they showed me that episode of Soul Eater with the exam day, and I thought that was so funny, and so I started watching it, and then Blair came in and ruined everything, and so I stopped watching it. And then my cousins were like, watch Ouran, and so then I watched a little bit of Ouran, didn't understand what was going on, and stopped. And then, like, years later, I picked up Death Note, and I loved Death Note so much. Not the anime, but I picked up the manga, and I loved the manga so much. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna give this a second shot. And so I started Soul Eater, I got halfway through, then I got bored, and then I stopped watching it again. And then, finally, like, years later, I finally finished the series and just completely fell in love with every aspect of it, because I think, like, it's funny, if you really love Tim Burton's art style, which I love Tim Burton so much, and it's funny because they kind of cross a little bit, Tim Burton and Soul Eater, and so if you're into Tim Burton, and I will think that you would like Soul Eater, and if you can get past like the cringy boob jokes and all of that stuff, then I think you can really learn to love this series. And I love, I could talk forever about this series, but one of the things that I love the most about it is that, as violent as this show is, it's actually like the answer to all their problems has nothing to do with violence. Like, Maka makes friends with Krona, and like she defeats a major enemy because she makes friends with them. Like, literally, it's like My Little Pony but more emo and a little more violent, but it's just so funny because it's like not really for kids, it's for teens, and so they've got the violence, they've got the boob jokes, they've got all this stuff, but then they've got this like super, like, the power of friendship type of thing just worked in there, and I love that so much. A little bit more about the art is I went for more of the manga covers rather than the show or the actual manga art. I went for the covers because I love the way that the covers are colored, and so I tried to get that super angular coloring scheme going on, and yeah, I love the manga covers so much. Even though I haven't read the manga yet, I really need to read the manga. Same with Ouran, I really need to read the manga, but I haven't got to it yet. Anyways, but yeah, I like how this one turned out, except for the gun. I probably am gonna redraw this whole character, probably just in like a regular style, and replace the gun with something cooler. But yeah, I really like how this worked out. I hope you like too. So for this next art style, we're going with something a little more obscure. It's something called Metropolis, and I don't know how many of you have actually heard of this movie, but it's a very good movie, and I think you should go check it out. There was no personality test for this one because it's not that popular, and but we all know that I would be Rock. No questions asked. I would be Rock. I love him. He is my favorite. I love Rock. I love his sunglasses. I got to put sunglasses in this one. Before I just kind of like threw them in, but this one is like legitimate sunglasses. Also, I didn't mention this before, but for the Soul Eater one, I got to put some ripped jeans in, and I was very happy that I figured out a way to put ripped jeans into that art style. But anyways, back to Metropolis. My favorite thing about this art style is how toy-like it looks. Like it suits it suits the story, and it suits its surrounding so well. It's just very like you could just like hug all the characters because they just look so soft and beautiful. And like generally I'm not into that, which is funny that I say that, but I'm not someone who really likes chibi or like cute art styles very much. I am more drawn to super angular stuff, like something that has a little bit of an edge to it. But I absolutely loved this one because it just like, you just want to go up and like hug all the characters because they're so squishy, and I love them. But yeah, so I mainly based my character around Rock because of the sunglasses and just like the same type of body proportions we got going on there. Also, one more thing to mention before we wrap it up here. I went for one very specific scene for the lighting because I wanted to play around. There's this one scene where Rock is chasing after Tima, and I can't remember the other kid's name for the life of me. I've only seen this movie once, so I'm sorry to offend all the super hardcore Metropolis fans, but where Rock is shooting at them and the gun like lights up. The firing of the gun lights up his face, and it's like greenish, and I really wanted to put that into here because just because a little bit of a contrast with the other color schemes I was going with, because I had a lot of purples going on, and so I just wanted to completely change that, and so we got some green going on here. And yeah, that's basically what I did. Here's the finished product. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I loved it. Next, we have another a little bit obscure anime, Techon King. I think that's how you pronounce it, Techon King. This one, I love this one. This one's actually, it's funny that I said before that I don't know if I said this before, but my art style isn't really very anime influenced, which is funny that I did this art style challenge. But also when you look at this art style, it's very much like the one that I have now, which is funny that I would say that it's not anime because, like, what really is anime? You can't really define it. That's why I kind of find it funny when people say that anime isn't cartoon or something like that, because it's just like, what really is anime? If it's made in Japan, it's Japanese cartoons. Same thing. It's just different. Yeah. So anyways, that'll probably make a lot of people mad. Anyways, what I love about this one is I love how simple it is and how they really just pushed simplicity to like a whole new level. And so for this one, it was really hard to hold back and not add more shading, and because at first I thought it was just solid colors, but there is a little bit of shading in there, and I really wanted to add more, but I couldn't. I had to resist the temptation to add more shading. I had to and like sometimes when you look at this certain spots, the lines will intersect and they won't like meet perfectly. They'll just kind of like stop, and I was like, I want to erase the end of the line, but I can't. And this one was a struggle to just resist like not overdoing it because I wanted to so badly, and I just had to not, and I resisted. I think this one is actually, to be honest, the most similar to the original art style compared to all the other ones. I think you could, like, if you've seen this movie, you could probably point this one out the most, because I don't think I did an amazing job on all of these, but I think this one is pretty good. And also, I love the mouths. I mean, I hate them because they're so like ugly and gross, but I love them because it just suits this whole gangster style so well, and that's what this movie is about. It's like gangsters and thugs and these two kids who are they're not like mixed in the whole thing, but they're just kind of like they're just these street kids, and I love it so much. There was no personality test for this one because it's not that well known, just kind of like Metropolis is, but I would totally be white because I love that kid so much, and I think we share a very complete stubbornness and not ignorance, indifference to reality. I love this kid. I love the way he talks. This is one of the, all of these shows actually have really good voice dubs for English. I think that really helps, is when a show has a really good voice dub. And this one definitely is one of those. So I hope you liked it. For the shirt, actually, this was funny, is I I never saw them do any kind of patterns on the shirts. So like I just did a top stripe and a bottom stripe for the shirt, which it looks kind of weird that way, but there was never any kind of pattern. There was always like a logo or something on the shirt, but never any pattern. So I only did those 2 stripes, and that might have even been a little bit too much, to be honest. But yeah, no, I think this one is really well. I really like this one. And last but not least, actually no, last and least, because I did not like this one at all. The result of this one, we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I like. It's funny I did this one because I love the art style, and not for the anime. I watched one episode of the anime and I was kind of like, it's okay, but I'll just stick to the mangas. But also I've only really read 1.5 of the mangas, so this is terrible. I'm a terrible fan of this show, but I really like the cross-hatching. I love how buff all the characters are. Like, all the characters are buff. There is no skinny people, at least not as far as I know. I've only read 1.5 mangas, so I don't really know. But, so for this one, for the personality test, I was not gonna, the only people I really know are Dio and Joseph, and so I was like, this is gonna be so bad. I'm gonna do this test, I'm not even gonna know who the character is, and I got this guy. Don't know who he is. He looks like a nice guy. I mean, he looks pretty cool, so you do with it as you will. So I didn't really go by that at all to influence how I created my character, but I wanted to do some weird wacky pose, and I wanted to get that like smug look, which it just looks, I don't like this one. I did not like drawing this art style. It was easy, and I like the coloring that I did, but I don't really like it. So yeah, you can take with it. Yes. Words are fun. But yeah, so I think the coloring went well. I based it off of the manga covers, because I've only really read the manga, and that's where I started liking this show. Because the mangas, they got every single page has action lines, like super intense. Every single page is intense, and you start reading it and you just can't stop. It's so action-packed. It's so incredible. I love it so much, but I need to finish it. I'm such a fake fan. But no, I love how outgoing this show is, and if you're someone who is not really into anime, I recommend this show to you, because you're just gonna be like, this is so ridiculous, it's amazing. I love it. It's a good show. So this is the final product of the art that I did. It's not that great, a little too awkward, but we'll just say that it's awkward because of the show. So that's everyone lined up in a row, 6 art styles, excluding mine. I'm so sorry that this video was so long. I would never watch a video this long. Actually, no, that's a lie. I do it all the time. But, yeah, here they are. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I think my favorite one is, like the Techon King style, just because I think I nailed that one a little bit. So, yeah, I'm very happy with how this turned out, and I challenge you to do this as well. No matter what your level of art is at the moment, you should go and try this and try and push your comfort zone. So rather than when you draw, rather than just kind of copy and pasting your character into another art style, try and actually change what they're wearing, or change the colors you used, or their facial expressions to suit yourself in this art style, because I think that's where people go wrong, is they don't change enough. But yeah, so I enjoy doing this because now I kind of have a better understanding about what these styles actually used when they were to be created, how they went about creating these art styles, and I will definitely be using some of these techniques in the future. So yeah, I learned a lot. I hope you learned a little bit too, and you will see me draw later. Bye.